Oh, okay, okay. Then there's not. Good deal. Mary, how many did you have? How many parishioners did you have?
They called last week and said that there wasn't anywhere in the community that there was yes. So, if it's that concerned me, so went to the village office, got everything from the
Married my sister.
Annie.
I know.
You can save that chair for you.
Good morning, people. Welcome to our July the 6th meeting. It's hard to believe it's already July, and we had a great weekend. Some of the weather, it wasn't that great, but we all rise and Marty will lead in a prayer, and our Sheriff Bryson Swearingen will do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our gracious God, we are so grateful to live in the United States of America. We just thank you for all the celebrations that have taken place over the last couple weeks, and we are We are so thankful for all that you have provided our nation. We thank you for the leaders who stood upon your word and helped to lay the foundations of the United States of America so many years ago. And because of their prayers, our country has stood for centuries. And we know it could have been a very short-lived nation, but because of your divine providence and because of the steadfastness of the faith of our forefathers, America has stood the test of time. And we just pray, dear God, you will grant us the wisdom to continue to keep our nation on that path so that we can stand for another 250 years as the United States of America, one nation under God. And dear Father, we just thank you for the opportunities to come and conduct the business of the county. We ask that you will help us to do it in a respectful and efficient manner, dear Father. Lord, we just thank you for all those who make our freedom possible. Our veterans, our military, all of our police officers, EMS. We just thank you, dear God, for all those who help to keep us safe. And Lord, we just once again now ask that you will guide and direct this proceeding in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark.
So I would like to share just a few words about our founding. Last week I heard several radio programs about the Continental Congress and some of the things that took place so that our nation could come into being. It says, as we reflect on the Revolutionary War, we must recognize that the survival and success of the Continental Army were in many ways nothing short of miraculous. From unexplainable weather phenomena to improbable victories of undertrained militias against the greatest military power in the world, our war for independence bore the fingerprints of something greater than man alone. At the center of that stood George Washington, a man of action and a man of prayer. As our forefathers were meeting in Philadelphia, putting the finishing touches on the Declaration of Independence, warships began to gather in the New York Harbor towards the end of June. And, started out with 15 or 20. And by the middle of August, there were over 400 warships, the largest navy that had ever been dispersed on a country. And with that came 32,000 troops. George Washington was set on the land. He had no navy. He had 19,000 troops and didn't have the luxury of having all the cannons and that were provided to the British. But there was a disastrous battle for Long Island. The Continental Army faced annihilation. They were tracked by British forces with the East River at their back. Defeat was certain, but on the night of August 29th, a thick fog rolled in, so dense that even at close range, visibility was near zero. So, under the cover of this inexplicable fog, Washington silently evacuated 9,000 troops across the river. The British awoke to an empty battlefield. No one can explain the fog's timing or intensity, but its impact was undeniable. Providence, it seemed, had intervened. And as we read on at the end of the year in December, the same thing happened as they went across the Delaware River to take out the Hessian troops that were fighting for the British. The American Revolution was a crucible in which liberty was forged, not just by human courage, but by divine intervention. The miracles that steered the Continental Army to victory were not accidents of nature, they were signs of providence. And at every step, our leaders prayed, not just for triumph, but for righteousness, wisdom, and unity. America remains a beacon of freedom, guided by moral conviction. The blessings of liberty are not guaranteed, They must be understood, cherished, and defended. And one of my favorite scriptures, 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. America needs healing today. But that repentance doesn't start at the top. It starts with each one of us. As we decide what direction we're going to go, let's look within each one of ourselves and make sure that we are prepared for the battle that is laid ahead of us. So, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Marty. Okay, first thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Everybody had a chance to read them, look at them.
I had one question. In the matter of consideration of assessor approval bids, the dates on that, Patty, was May 1st, 2026 to April 1st, 2023. I know that can't be right. Did you have the same thing? Right there.
So regular minutes,
Okay,
regular minutes.
but that should be 2030, is that correct? Should be April
Correct.
29th, 2030? Okay. Should be April 29th.
Okay, May 1st, 2026 to April 29th,
2030.
2030.
Is that what you get, Marty?
Yes,
That should be 30.
Okay. and it should be April 29th, Patty.
Okay.
So I will move we approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is the consideration of EDF abatement resolution 2026-10.
That will be for next month.
Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda, open bids for bridge number 127. Eric?
It appears we have two. The first is CLR Inc. The lump sum bid is $694,330. There's an alternate for $29,550.
Okay. That's an extra.
That's an extra. We need to take that to the highway department.
Okay.
I'll take that to the highway department.
The second is Duncan Robertson Inc. lump sum bid is $1,463,000. An alternate of $5,000.
Yes.
Kind of take them under advisement and do them on our next meeting. Is that what the gentleman want to do?
Yep, we need to review these, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for everybody that turned in bids on that.
Yes.
Okay, next thing. Consideration for updated job description, environmental health.
Thanks for coming, okay?
Okay, I'm just updating, job descriptions here, a little bit. We have a full-time in, public health, environmentalist, which is, environmental health. But I would like to change our health inspector, part-time to just an environmentalist also. So that way, used to the full-time person would do the septics and the part-time person would do the food. If I have the full-time and the part-time person both doing environmental, that they just handle all of the environmental stuff. So basically, it's the same job description with a part-time and a full-time.
This says everything that needs to be said, right? Okay. I'll flip it over, see.
Both of them in one motion. Okay. I'll move we approve the job descriptions for environmental health specialists as presented this morning.
Full-time and part-time, right?
Full-time and part-time, yes, both.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Ken.
Next thing on the agenda is consideration from First Source, approval of bid. We kind of did some research on that and, what you gentlemen want to do on that?
I'd like to hear Eon's recommendation.
My wife made me promise not to say anything about Thailand or Vegas this time, so I wrote it down. Reassessment's a fundamental component of our property tax system, and it's required under Indiana code. As a veteran, I take my oath of office seriously, and I approach these responsibilities with diligence and integrity. I have conducted a comprehensive evaluation of both proposals, including thorough review of each vendor and their proposed staffing. Based on that analysis, I strongly recommend retaining Tyler Technologies for the upcoming reassessment cycle. Tyler's consistently demonstrated its ability to deliver accurate and defensible valuations, maintain full compliance with Indiana code and the LGF standards, and meet all the required deadlines. Additionally, our low appeal rates, which are, I believe, third in the state, reflect the consistency and precision of their work. And when we're talking about $1.675 billion
with assets, we want consistency, we want accuracy. So my recommendation is keep Tyler.
This is for a 4-year contract, right?
Yes.
I know we've fretted and stewed over the difference in the bids, but, I mean, Board of Commissioners of Clay County reserves the right to reject any and all bids. I've served in organizations where we took the cheapest bid, because it looked too good to be true, and it turned out to be too good to be true. Being third in the state as far as, accuracy and that sort of thing, that's what we want. We want our citizens to be confident that what they're getting from the assessor's office is absolutely right. And, being that said, I will move, we approve, the contract with Tyler Technologies, for the period of, May 1st of 2026 to April 29th of 2030.
That's a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Appreciate your work and research on this, and, Tyler, appreciate your, presence and help on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Who signs this, Eric?
That would be Mark, or I'm sorry, Brian.
Okay.
There you go.
Place for all of us.
There's 3 blanks there, Eric. You want the rest of us to sign
Yeah, all
also?
3 of you can sign.
All three?
Okay.
Not yet.
No.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is consideration for the Baker Tilly contract.
This is for the part of them assisting on the mess that's coming up And, this is, the contract for that.
And this is on behalf of the Clay County Council, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is something new from basically the state of Indiana on laws they passed in last Indiana General Assembly, and I know it's been recommended from the state that each county have a contract with somebody for assistance and help on this. So I think this is good, and I think we need to assist and help the county council on this because this is something that's new, and there's going to be some research that's going to have to take place to make everybody aware of what is going to happen and what should happen under the situation. So I think this is a good move.
You want to go ahead, put that in?
I'll make the motion that we approve the Baker Tilly contract as presented to us for the must agreement.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Make motion by saying aye.
Aye.
3-0. Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is consideration for the jail medical contract. Sure.
As you guys, excuse me, as you guys are aware, you've requested that we have a yearly contract with a non-renewal clause. So that is what we've been doing the last several years. We have presented you the contract for 2027, so starting January 1st, and that is with Quality Correctional Care, who is our current jail medical provider, who also provides the mental health services for the jail. It's been a long-standing relationship between the county and Quality Correctional Care, and I am in agreement with the contract that was presented to you guys. I have Lisa Scroggins, the owner of QCC, here to answer any of your questions or concerns.
What comments do you have tonight?
Well, good morning. I always just like an opportunity to come see you every year, so I appreciate that you don't have an automatic renewal. And it's our pleasure, of course, to continue our partnership with you. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Very little change. I think we're adding a few hours of coverage for next year as you're off of the jail side, not the ICE side, as populations continue to increase. So happy to answer questions if you have them.
Sure.
Good to see your smiling
Okay with
face.
the contract as presented. Okay. You're okay with everything as well?
Absolutely love our partnership.
Okay, very good. Very good.
It's good to have a trusted vendor that we can count on, so
Well,
we
thank you.
appreciate it.
We feel the exact same way about our relationship with Clay County, so thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the contract?
So I will move, we approve the Clay County Jail Healthcare Service Contract with Quality Correctional Care.
And I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate you being here as well. Thank you for your comments.
Would you like for us to go ahead and execute it while I'm here? We
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If I could take just a second, if I could introduce Dr. Billy Hall. He, I do turn 65 this year, so it is time for me to start. Yeah, this is on the record. I can't believe I just said that out loud. But Billy is, he's I'm gonna move in the role of founder chairman. He's gonna serve the role as our CEO. So. Can't believe I just said that out loud.
Yeah. on camera. That's
right.
Getting read into the public record.
There you go.
Golly, Ned, I've lost my mind.
So 2025, I'm thinking, so.
Sorry.
I'll take that.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to see
Thank
you.
you.
Sure.
Take care. Next thing on our agenda is consideration of SAD grant for 2027 renewal.
So I've been asked to present this in front of the commissioners and the council this evening on behalf of Deborah Allen, who is the coordinator for the CSAC. So this is actually not the SAD grant. This is the Local Prevention Treatment Justice Grant. It is for the Clay County Substance Abuse Council. This is a pass-through grant. The county receives the funds and passes on to the entity. This is going to be used for various different organizations that are a member of the Substance Abuse Council for prevention, treatment, for justice. Also, it's one of the main funding sources for the Red Ribbon Week, where all the fifth graders come to the courthouse for that event. The amount requested is $27,000. Obviously, Patty, do you have any figures on, is that still a good number?
That's a good number, yeah. And it used to be called SAD, and now they've changed it to this broader name of Local Prevention Training.
Well, STAT's a group for Students Against Drunk Driving, so it's been the Substance Abuse Council. There is no county match involved with this. This is the annual renewal. So we're just presenting that to the commissioners for approval for that grant.
Do you know if this is a competitive grant?
All 92 counties have access to this. It's not competitive between those counties.
Okay. Now, this is something we've done for years and years, and I know Scott Stuckey and Debbie Allen have been working together on this for a long, long time. It's a great thing, and I fully support this.
I'll move we approve the grant, Clay County Substance Abuse Council, Local Prevention Treatment Justice Grant for 1/1/27 to 12/31 of 27.
And I appreciate Debbie and others that are getting this in on a very timely basis, as this is for next year, and so they're well ahead of the game. I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that does run from January 1st, 2027 to 12/31/27. So thank you, Sheriff.
Now, this next item, Brian, we're gonna table for today. It's a vacating of a street in Bowling Green, Indiana, and after speaking with the family last week, there were still some questions. I've been to the recorder's office and printed off all the information I could get and have given that to our attorney because it was over my head, so, I'm gonna let Eric take a look at it and we'll act on that then. Hopefully you're ready for that next month.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, next thing on the agenda is consideration of budget form 144. We just gotta acknowledge them.
Yes.
Everybody have them.
You need a motion on that?
Nope, no motion, just acknowledgement.
I have received them.
I have to.
He also,
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the covered bridge certificate. Everybody get a copy of that?
Yes.
This is the yearly state form that the state asks us to do for certification.
You need to make a motion on that?
Now, basically, this certifies that we have no covered bridges in the state of Indiana, and they want verification of this every year. I don't know if they think we're gonna add one or what the deal is, but, this is a form that we have to approve and sign every year, and so I make the motion that we approve the covered bridge certification stating that we have no covered bridges in Clay County.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is consideration of termination of the Sunrise Toll Bond for County Road 100 East in Clay City, Indiana.
Yes. Sunrise Coal Company came to the commissioners a few years ago stating that they wanted to open a mine in Harrison Township, east of Clay City. And as part of the agreement with them, they wanted to basically use County Road 100 East between State Road 246 and State Road 157. And we agreed to that. And part of that agreement was that they were to, once the mining was complete, and they have completed the mining, they have moved out, that their responsibility would be to pave Road 100 East from 246 to 157 at no cost to the county. And they have done that 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've looked at it a couple times. It's a great job. And so I think it is time to release a bond. We required a $100,000 bond on that road in case they did not live up to their agreement, but they have. And so I think that it is okay to release this bond for $100,000 on County Road 100 East.
You want to put that as a motion?
Sure. I make the motion that we release the bond $100,000 for Sunrise Coal Company, bond number 0273409 on County Road 100 East between State Road 246 and 157.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I might mention, many of us that's a little bit older remember all the mines that we used to have in Clay County. And I may be wrong, and maybe you can correct me, but I don't think we have any mines. I think when this mine closed a year or two ago, I think that was the last mine in Clay County. Yeah.
Hopefully your road don't end up like Niceville.
Well, this one will not, because this road was actually not mine.
Okay.
And I might mention that we have another road that is under bond, that goes from County Road 100 East into the city limits of Clay City. And that road was mined, much of it, and we do not want to pave that road for another couple of years because we wanted to settle to make sure that we don't have all the waves that sometimes are created.
Okay. Okay. You gotta sign a release on that.
You'll sign there above your name. And I will send that to Sunrise Coal Company. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna get a couple more.
Yeah, that's everything on our agenda. Now it's time for public comment. Everybody have 3 minutes to comment. Please state your name and your zip code. Anybody want to make comments?
My name is Casey Smith, I live in 47834, and I would like to read a notice that I will be sending out to everybody here, and I just want to remind everybody that all public officials did sign an oath and swear an oath to the Constitution, and I do believe that we all should stand by that with data centers and flock cameras and everything else that's going on in the world. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, since they're only 3 minutes anyway, and then I'll So, as one of the people of the 50 states, I do provide this notice to you and your agents, that I declare that the people have all the political power and inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property, to the pursuit of happiness, as seen in all 50 state constitutions. Individual liberties are insignificant to all government. The people have assembled across the state to consult for their common good and to instruct their trustees for redress and grievances, correcting maladministration. The main purpose of the government is to guarantee and protect the people's happiness, safety, and property. In the Indiana Constitution, Article 1, Bill of Rights, Section 1, it says that we declare that all people are created equal and that are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that all power is inherent to the people, and that all free governments are and ought to be founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and well-being. For the advancement of these ends, the people have all times indefeasible right to alter and reform their government. There's a lot more on this, but I would like to say that I, and I'm sure a lot of other people, do not consent to data centers being put in our county or anywhere in the state, as well as the 2 flock cameras that are down on the county line road. Ain't nobody consented to that. That's a direct violation of the 4th Amendment, and we need to get rid of all that stuff. And with that, I just, yes.
What's your name?
Casey Smith.
Next.
My name is Tamara Cookson. I live out on 350 East. I don't have no legal documents, but after what she said, my concerns is We're getting ready to build that right out there by Van Buren School. And with all our homes out in there having well water, that it could, I know they say they can evaporate the water to reuse it and stuff, but it's still gonna take more than what they're be able to evaporate. And my brother lives in Tippecanoe County. He told me up there when they had a meeting that if it messed up our wells, they would have to replace our water to make our water proper and right where we could use it again. And not only that, with the sound that come off the animals, the people out in there, that, you know, it would, and the heat that comes off of the building or off the plant would mess up the crops and stuff. And not only that, you know, just, I don't know, just our sanity and our property values, because I went out and got a lot of signatures and people told me they was gonna sell their property just to get away and get out. And we are taxpayers and it will affect our property values, what it will and stuff. You know, we're just totally against it.
I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Pamela Cooksey,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Paul Gable, 47834.
Gamble, I'm sorry.
Gable, Gable. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing all of us to have some of your time. I'll preface by saying that I'm not a generational Clay County person. I wasn't born here, not raised here, but this is home to my family. I'm here today because while there's no known project yet, I believe any future discussion about a proposed data center is not just about one project, it's about what kind of community we want to be for the next generation. I understand that economic development matters, especially in a county like this. I understand the promise of investment, jobs, and new revenue. Those are all important conversations, ones that need to be had. But growth should not come at the cost of the very things that make this county a place people are proud to call home. Data center is not your typical development. These facilities can require enormous amounts of electricity and water, create a major industrial footprint, and permanently change the character of the land around them. Once this type of development arrives, it's not something that can simply be undone. I, along with all these people here, urge and ask you, the commissioners, to ask hard questions before moving forward with approving any request in the future. Questions such as, how much water will this facility use, especially during times when our communities and farmers depend on reliable resources? How will the increased demand on our power grid affect residents and future development? What happens to nearby property values, rural landscapes, and the quality of life for people who already live here? And perhaps most importantly, this is a question that I pray you guys ask. Are we making a decision based on what benefits the county for decades? Or are we focused only on the immediate promise of revenue? Our county is more than a line item in a company's expansion plan. Clay County is family farms, neighborhoods, small businesses, schools, and people who have invested their lives to live here. Decisions made by this body will affect people who may never have a chance to come to a microphone and speak. If any future proposal is truly beneficial, then it should withstand a thorough independent review. You should demand transparency, detailed environmental studies, clear water and energy impact reports, and a strong protection for the citizens who are stuck and have to live with consequences. I understand that development is not the enemy, and that responsible development is the goal. But by saying too quickly to any project, whether it be a data center or anything else out in the county, could mean saying no to a future that we want. A future with clean resources, healthy environment, and a county where people will still want to raise their families. I respectfully ask that you ask these difficult questions, put the long-term interest of the county residents ahead of short-term promises when a project comes before you. And a project will come before you. I respectfully ask for a multi-year moratorium so that we can understand the impact any future project would have on our county, especially considering the fact that we don't have any zoning in the county. Thank you for your time, your service, and commitment to our community.
Thank you.
This is just something my wife and I put together. It kind of hits on the points you want to speak about. Just something to take back home and kind of chew on. Thank you, sir. My name's Logan Keene. I'm a 47844 resident. Logan Keene, Keen. I'm down in Posey Township, kind of the Chinook mine area. So, kind of touched on what Paul said, and your sheet here was, I think, super informative and kind of drove home the point. What I'm going to speak on is having a dislike or the commissioners here don't want a data center. I think this form here you gave us kind of speaks on the point that we don't have that right currently to say no. So again, what Paul said, if something comes in front of us, it's really not going to be up to you guys to have any consideration to say yes, no. Currently there's the air permit for the gas turbine power plant out on 1350. And you guys have no right currently to say, hey, that's not fair. I think Jonathan Bradshaw lives right near there. And so I think to have the question here is not so much a data center or a power plant. It's having common sense, plan use, common sense zoning. If a resident moves out near Great Dane, it should be considered, hey, they may expand at some point. That's understandable. But to have someone who lives out on 1350 on the country, to let a business or an individual come in and put whatever they want, wherever they want, it just lets them rifle through our community. And it really takes away, I'm sure what you gentlemen have seen over the years, as the beautiful things we have out here. I live out, like I said, the Chinook mine area. I don't want to see a factory next door to me. But currently, that could happen. I could be that person. So I think my question here, my statement is not so much, do you gentlemen, will you put up a fight for data centers? You can't. You can do nothing right now currently. What are we doing to hit on these 3 points and make this happen? That's a question, I guess.
We have been talking to try to start seeing what people want zoning and who doesn't want zoning.
Sure.
So the majority would probably rule on that, how we have to go with that.
Sure.
That's just I don't know what everybody else is thinking here, but that was my opinion.
And I understand that.
And we like to, about the only way we do it right now, we cannot put that addendum out there on the voters. We'd have to do like a mailing to get yes or no.
Sure.
Once on this, if we did anything like that.
And I understand that, and I get the process, thank you.
Yeah.
But today is the day. You see these meetings happen 3 years from now, where Paul would come in, the data centers come and do information, hey, here's where we're going. And someone says, hey, stop them. Today is the day you start that fight. 3 years from now is way too late, because once they come, you can't stop them. I do real estate for a living across the country. We go and we petition for zoning changes. That's what I do. And there's numerous times we come in and say, hey, we're gonna do this, and the residents come in and say, no, I don't want that. It's too late. You can't stop us. So I think that maybe a second meeting or an informational meeting, because I understand people don't want to be told what they can do with their land. I get that. But some common sense industrial areas, say direct by Great Dane, Vigo County has it. There can be some really thoughtful ways that we can promote development, because this county does need it. We are a very impoverished county, I get that. But to not let an outsider, for example, that power company, let them come in and do what they please, when likely, I believe he lives in Illinois. So we're unprotected here. The community is telling you we need your protection. And if I'm Brian, you're my commissioner. I'm calling you every day, but just to see some action on how we're gonna start enacting this, because they're coming. I mean, we have a permit that says he is gonna start doing power out there for the next generator that's gonna be put online for the next data center. There's a piece of land out on 42 that is zoned. I'm sorry, the zoning is the main focal point on their listing. It says no zoning, no restrictions. We have realtors telling people from the outside that they can come in and just rifle through our community as they please. And there's nothing we can do. So we have to do something, gentlemen. I don't know, you said a mailer, if that's a community meeting like this, but I mean, the people have spoken. In that packet following, I think we had 800 signatures, and that was in the span of, I think, 3 weeks. You know, and I know there's gonna be some opposition. Like I said, I understand people don't want big government, big brother, but there's common sense behind it. Most communities do it. Park County does, and they're pretty small as well. So today is the day. It's the start of this. If not, we're gonna be 3 years from now doing I told you so's, and I mean, it's gonna be just plotted around our county. So we're like Boone County up there with 1,000. So appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hi, rather than go up there, is it okay if I sit here? It's rather a navigational system to do that. My name is Kevin Schultz. I was born in this county. My family has lived in this county for over 200 years, various generations. And I was the founder, CEO, president of Multitech Global. It's an international IT service company. What was the name of the company? I'm Multitech Global. It is an Indiana-based company, but operates in every country in the world that we're allowed to. I have built, I have commissioned, I have maintained data centers in every continent in the world. And as such, I'm here basically not to take a position on this. How many of you have ever been in a data center? Very few. I'm just to tell you that the data center is not a demon that you all think it is. Under right management, as this gentleman here said earlier, and coordination and approval of plans and environmental impacts and such can be quite a boon for the county. Back in the 50s, IBM wanted to move to Clay County. The Clay plants kicked them out, so they couldn't do it. I'm here to tell you, I live this every day. This is the future, okay? You can bring them in here. You can hold them to whatever standard you want. You can shield them to whatever you want to do so that they don't emit any kind of thing outside of their perimeter. But they are coming. You might as well find a way to make it work within your industrial capacity. There are basically two types of data centers. There's purpose-built data centers, which basically are facilities like Amazon, Google, et cetera have. There's also basically.
What did you call that?
Purpose-built. And those are basically for cloud computing, hyperscale activity, so on and so forth. I'm probably saying words you guys don't know. That's okay. I've been in this industry for 35 years. And then there are basically the co-location facilities, which are basically garages that people lease out for other businesses to come in and bring them. Equinix, kind of premier person that does this in the world, premier company. So my only recommendation to you is get your facts straight. Know what your limitations are. Know what you can do. I seriously doubt that any hyperscale facility will want to come to Clay County. Why? You don't have dual power grids in this county. Sullivan County is getting the brunt of this, and I've been talking with people there because they have the Miram facility there, and they also have the NiSource facility in the Sugar Creek area of Vigo Township. Power is everything, okay? Clay County doesn't have a close power plant close to it. They may generate some sort of a power plant here locally, but for it to sustain and have dual power and an N+1 type rating that is needed for these outfits, it won't happen. Not in Clay County. You may see pods, point of presence type things here in the county, but you're likely not to see the big hyperscale data centers. We simply don't have the infrastructure, and nor do they want to invest. They like going into warehouses and making it happen there.
So I'm not taking a position yay or nay on the thing. I'm just kind of giving the facts of what they are and what it is. And anybody's welcome to contact me. I live here locally on 59 47834 zip code, and I also live 3 months a year in Hong Kong. So I've lived in Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Colorado, Virginia, you name it, all over the place. But anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys to light some of the information about it. And thanks for the applause.
Anybody else?
I stand before you guys. My name is Tiffany Zankovich. 47834
Tiffany, will you spell your last name?
ZANKOVICH. I should actually be at work right now, but a future where our community is impacted by the far-reaching health and financial effects of a data center. Now is the time to let our voices be heard. I am the face of the community. I am the future of the community. I am young, I am middle-aged, and I have another 30, 40 years to contribute to this community. I don't have the financial means to live in Hong Kong or hop over to Australia. My future is here in Clay County. I do not want to be facing the far-reaching effects of the data centers where I'm on a well, where people's wells are poisoned, their health is failing, their children are dying, miscarriages are happening. Agriculture is no longer flourishing. The EMF radiation that's coming out of these data centers is affecting the bees. Cattle are not reproducing, chicken are not laying eggs. These are all of the fundamental things that our forefathers relied on for a future. These are the basics. I am begging and pleading that we have a clean, healthy future here. And that is all I have to say. I didn't plan on speaking, but I just feel that let's bring this back into the community. You guys live here. We all live here. We all drink the water. We all breathe the air. We don't want our air poisoned by the emissions that come from these data centers. The scale of the permit that is proposed with the turbines and the generators, you can hear the train from miles away. This sound from the data center never goes away, never goes away. Why should we let corporations, people who want to come in and pilfer our community, why should we let that happen? We need zoning. We're begging you for protection, and I thank you for your time.
Anybody else?
I'd like to just ask you a question while I stand here too, like Kevin did. It seems the issue here is zoning.
I need your name.
Linda Messmer,
Okay.
47834. And it says here, was the authority that the county commissioners in Indiana, what you can do. You gave us all this information. And it says without adopting zoning, the commissioners cannot regulate land use, issue zoning permits, or enforce zoning restrictions. So is that telling all of us here that no matter what we say today, you have no authority right now to rezone or to zone anything in the county? Is that correct? Am I understanding this correctly?
That's correct. We cannot implement a moratorium for a year as some other zoning counties have done.
Okay, then it also says here, to gain zoning authority, the county must. And the first thing is create a plan commission. Can you do that? Can I be on that commission? Who can be on that commission? Will you do that and when?
Well, that's where we're wanting to send out a mailer, who all want zoning, who don't want zoning. I mean, we got a group here, but then we need to get with all the property owners in Clay County to make sure how many want zoning, how many don't want zoning.
How soon can we see that?
What's that?
How soon can we see that?
How soon? What do you guys think if we get moving right now on that?
This is new water.
Yeah,
We-
I mean,
you know,
we'll have to go to the council first, ask for additional appropriations for the mailings
Is
and all
that
that.
gonna be on the agenda tonight for the council?
No, I mean, it's just their council, their agenda's already been made, but we will talk to them tonight, because I'm planning on being here. They just tell me it's coming, we won't have to get it on the next one, and see what we get on. And that's how we're moving on this. Matter of fact, you can ask Bill Lockmiller, I've been everywhere. This gentleman's took me around, showed me the places. I've been out looking and trying to find any answers. This Terry O'Malley, I've never met him, don't have his phone number. Matter of fact, they were trying to get me his phone number. So I've been everywhere hunting, and I've spent a lot of time. I don't want this in Clay County any more than anybody else does. And I'm a property owner, so.
Yeah, I think we're all just ready to get started, move forward. I mean,
Thank you. Yeah.
One more point, and I know that data centers are on the minds of everyone, but with no zoning in place, Clay County opens itself up to hog farms, to landfills, and to other things that we don't want without zoning here. I don't know how long Clay County's been a county. I find it hard to believe that for hundreds of years we haven't had zoning. But as that gentleman said, now is the time to really get serious about zoning, because it's AI and data centers today, it could be a hog farm tomorrow, it could be a landfill a month from now. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Cheryl Shopmeyer, 47833. If you were even to establish zoning in Clay County, would it be retroactive anyway for the situation that's going on right now?
No.
So would it even stop what we're trying to stop?
By the time we got it set up, probably not right now, but in the future it would.
Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
It's a foot race right now. I mean, that gas plant, he's already permitted it, correct me wrong. You can't stop somebody if you don't like it, or if it fits the bill, surely it does. Happens to be okay all the time. People don't want their subdivision being expanded. It's too bad it's gonna happen. But we're in a foot race right now, again, not against the data center, but against people going out there doing whatever they like. I wanna do what I want my property. I live on 6 acres out in the Chinook Mine area. We do what we want out there. But within reason, I live next to his son. I should not be able to put a car lot next door to him. That's just, it's common sense zoning. So yeah, we're in a foot race against people doing what they want, like this O'Malley guy in our county, he does not live here.
well, I have another question. You're saying that was, sent in, or the contract, or whatever it is for this, the power plant and the data center. Was that not approved by you guys or the council ahead of time?
We never even seen it.
So then how does it get, through, if you guys didn't even approve it, because isn't it your job to approve all the contracts and stuff? And
we
then
met with the governor's office last week.
do what?
We met with the governor's office last week, to find out how it got approved through IDM without any signatures from commissioners. Said the mayor had signed it, said Pat Hefner from the city council, who hasn't been on the city council for 20+ years, her name was on there.
Wouldn't that be make it void then if they didn't actually sign it?
Well,
Yes.
That's what we're looking
That's
at.
breach of contract.
That's what we're looking at.
That's what we're trying to find out right
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah, to be very honest with you, we're not very happy.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that's happened behind our back, we knew nothing about, we know nothing about. We find out that IDM has approved some of these permits and supposedly sent a couple of these people, as indicated to Pat Hefner on the city council 20 years ago, was on the county council recently, sent to other people supposedly in Clay County. I don't know if they got anything or not. we as commissioners, none of us have ever received anything. And we're not very happy about this. It seems like everything is going on behind our back. And so now we're trying to research, trying to find out exactly what has happened, why, and so on. And we've got calls out to several people, and we're trying to get answers. And I'm going to tell you, it's not very easy.
This was approved by the governor's office?
No, I did not.
I did.
I am.
They're coming here basically because the big cities don't want them anymore.
Well,
And it's too expensive, the properties there. I mean, we see this in everywhere in the world, people. And I'm not saying it's right to come here. I mean, you guys should regulate it to the hill. I completely agree with that. What I will say is it's inevitability. And it can be a plus for the county if they do it properly.
But if they don't do it the proper way, then they're just fucking up the county.
They could do well.
So that's the whole
The
thing.
issue
That's the
here-
reason where everyone here is here to be against it.
I understand, but you gotta understand one other thing. Basically, what they're saying is they can only do it within the grounds of the zoning, which we don't have, right? And if you enact zoning in this county, it's gonna impact every one of you guys with your property and everything right now. So, it's a cost benefit trade-off, right? And I'm just here as an independent citizen. I don't take a position on one way or the other. But I just say if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. And you need people that know what they're doing on any kind of issue.
Yes.
I'd like to ask the question, do the people that live in that area, are we gonna get any more consideration as to, I mean, if it was next to your house, are we gonna have any more, I don't know, protection against it? I mean, Joe Snow that lives 40 miles from here in Indiana, he ain't gonna care. But it's a mile from my house and I care.
I have 1,000 acres of solar fields supposed to be going in right across from my house. I guess it's not happening now.
I mean, I agree with Mrs. Cup. This power plant, whatever, is going right next door to my house. Land that my family's had for over 100 years. I have great kids. I got great kids. We have, I don't want my grandkids worked up by this. I don't want to drain my water supply off my pond that we had dug personally 25 plus years ago. So can we just, I mean, they've already lost it. They've already killed all the trees. So what's next?
People.
Yep, being affected by the pollutants.
Kill people.
Oh, yeah, yes.
So my concern is.
State your name, please.
G. Graham. My concern is they're so secretive about it. So if the permit shows, the approved permit for IDM shows that it's for a nearby data center. I've been told it needs to be nearby for that type of, with the turbines and that. It also says 400 megawatts, which by looking at other data centers in the state, that's between 400 and 600 acre data center to go here, if you look at that. And so why are they being so secretive? Has anyone been able to find out? I mean, they gotta know where they want to put the data center, but it seems to be this big secret. Do any of you have any idea?
That was our exact question to the governor's office. Why is it such a secret? Just come and be straightforward up front with us and talk to us.
400 megawatt data center is the equivalent of about 500,000 houses. Gives you some. Yes. Such.
And, yeah, so I don't know how to find out, but it seems like when we do find out, it'll be too late, just like it was with this.
Well, the bottom line is, if they are successful, it depends on the people in that area whether they sell or not.
Yes.
Okay, if people there are willing to sell, then, unfortunately, it may go, but if everybody up there refuses to sell, then it's not gonna happen because they have to have so many acres, and I think they're looking for at least 400 plus acres.
Lisa Byers, 47834. We have property in that very close proximity. I was someone met with us over our property twice. And we were no the first time, we were no the second time. They expressed nothing about the data center. It was like, I kept saying, well, what's this for? They did talk about the generating stations across the street. And they did offer a lot of money. But I'm like, no, I wouldn't do this to my community, I wouldn't do this to my family.
But they talked to you 2 times.
2 times. Now. this-
Recently or how long
Yes,
ago?
in the last month.
Did you get any names?
I have names, I will give those to you.
Okay, thank you.
I spoke with a gentleman from a company called Blue Flux Power. Now, Blue Flux Power is not Blue Power, which Terry O'Malley is behind. We've had dealings with Terry O'Malley forever, and none of them are good. None of them are good. This gentleman met trying to sell us, I'll give you all this money, you can move, you can build, you can do whatever you want. And I said to him, this is what I want. I have what I want. I don't need your money. I don't want your money for this reason. I don't want this across the street. I don't want this next to my nephew. I don't want this next to my neighbors. So, Blue Flux though is a company that was coming in with Blue Power. I've since found this out. They came in with Blue Power. They were gonna work together to develop whatever. I since contacted the gentleman I spoke with in the last week. Well, he no longer is working in Indiana. Their company's from Georgia. He's no longer working in Indiana, nor is he no longer working with Terry O'Malley. I mean, there's so many questions unanswered. And he would never come forthright with me as to what are we doing here? And I asked, are you talking to other property owners? It's probably been more than a month ago. Like I said, I met with him twice. And he would never answer that. And then all of this was prior to any word in the public about a data center. And then all of a sudden this comes out. And I'm like, whoa. This is where they were going, supposedly, but he would never come forth with that.
He's trying to give you a snow job.
Exactly.
They're developer brokers.
Yeah, so anyway, but I have some contact names. Now, the gentleman I spoke with, we had a conversation last week, but he's pretty much done speaking with me because he no longer is working in this area. He no longer works.
Is there somebody replacing him?
Well, I asked, I said, now who's my contact? And he gave me a name, and I would be glad to share that with you. And I believe it's the attorney that Terry O'Malley works through out of Rockville.
Anna.
Thank you, that's who it is, Terry. So that's the name I have, and I don't have a number, but it'd be easy to find.
Is there anybody else here been contacted?
I'm Jacob Shepherd. I live right next door. And O'Malley had come to me a while back and told me he's putting in a hydrogen processing plant. So, and apparently this is for a data center. Now, he didn't tell me that when he said it. He said, oh, we're gonna dig down 400 feet, which concerns me when you start fracking the ground. And I have a lake and well water and things like that. And we told him to kick rocks, basically. He tried to snowball my grandma, who lives between us and his property. And took her to the bank and got a thing notarized, which we had the lawyer remove. He was trying to get a new lease on her property. This guy is a snake, and I've dealt with him for going on 30 years myself. Her family's dealt with him the
Now,
entire
who are you
time.
talking about?
Terry O'Malley.
Okay.
We've been
So
dealing with
they
them
were,
since 1994.
for who don't know, they were Midwest Gas. He had so many problems. He was on again, off again. He'd get investors, steal their money, take their money, use it. And then he would be defunct for a few years. And next thing you know, they'd start back up. The DNRs now took it over and closed down pretty much all of their operations. And now all of a sudden he's got this new thing where he's gonna do a hydrogen plant, and basically he told me they were gonna pull salt brine water from 400 feet down, remove the salt, take the hydrogen, and pump it off. I didn't know what, and apparently now I guess we're gonna do a generator processing plant. I'm not quite sure you know, what he's up to. You see him, he'll just come in every so often and you'll see him in there and then he's gone. He'll meet with people and
How long ago did he meet with you?
it's been 3 or 4 months since I've seen Terry. Now, he was in the area about a month ago or a month and a half ago, but I did not have a chance to, speak with him. He's pretty flashy, so, but I mean, he doesn't live in the area, he lives up in Illinois, so. But I'm really kind of tired of dealing with him and the gas company over there, and I really wish that, you know, the DNR took the well off my property. You know, thank God, I thought I was done with it. Now I've got, you know, we border with him, so I don't quite know what we're gonna end up with.
Did IBM contact you?
No, it did not. No, it did not. We have a small lake right there, and I worry about it and the water that would actually feed your cows if you still had cows, and because it's all connected, and it just, there's nobody says anything to us. So we don't know what's happening environmentally, you know, what kind of impact it's gonna have on us. And I really don't want to listen to a bunch of generators, power plant, you know, that I'm used to applying. You know, so.
I will also add, we were looking at property close to the railroad park.
Is there anybody else in contact? This is very interesting, at least I think it is.
I've had clients that have received mailings very recently wanting to renew their oil and gas lease. They send a check for $80 or something like that, so make sure you know what you're signing. I would encourage you not to sign it.
On that, like, we've had a lease with them, like, for forever, and they quit paying.
You had a lease with who?
It was Midwest at the time, Terry Malley. We'll just say Terry Malley, because the company name changes frequently. I think it's Blue Power now. And probably in the last 15 years, we haven't received checks, and we didn't receive them regularly prior to that. We haven't received them probably for the last 15 years. I may have received 1 or 2, but I never signed them. I never cashed them. And the thing is, it's not a lot of money. I mean, I'm talking a year, $360 is what they were used to send us years and years ago. So it's not a huge amount of money, but they would periodically throw one out there. So, and you know, and back in the day, the checks were bouncing and all this anyway. But those leases, I'm sure you haven't been paid for years.
Well, when he took my grandmother to the bank, it was maybe a year, last year, she cashed a check from me for like $50.
Yeah, and that's just like, no, I refuse to.
What was the check's name? Was it this Blue Tire LLC?
No, it wasn't Blue Power at the time. They've had Midwest, and there was something in between. I mean, there's been several. Putnam Energy LLC.
How can you be
He was for a while. Putnam Energy LLC, Midwest Gas for a while, and the most frequent from probably the IDEM application is Blue Power, I believe.
But it's the data center guys,
Clay Fred.
the data center guys are buying power companies. All over the world. So you just need to be mindful of if the power company approaches you, they're probably a front of the data center people.
I think the problem we're facing here on this one, and it's kind of interesting, is the opposition they normally see is that we're going to shrink our electricity grid. What O'Malley's doing is he's going to self-sufficient, when he gets it on a gas reserve of some sort, I'm guessing, he's going to feed his own power and skirt around the concern, is there nearby power, is there nearby RECs? He is going to be a self-sufficient sort of water system.
One of the things he told me was to upgrade the system for him to do certain things that he wanted to do, was about $1 million in electrical upgrades. So that's, I think that's where this hydrogen peroxide plant was born from, was that he couldn't pay to have REMC put in $1 million for the infrastructure.
Didn't Government Braun have something going on where they were gonna legislate where these facilities had to be self-sufficient off the main residential grids and also self-sufficient with respect to closed loop water supplies and stuff? Where's that at in the legislature? I don't know.
So there was a Farm Bureau web conference maybe a week or 10 days ago. It's on their website. If you're a Farm Bureau member, it's like a 3-hour conference. You can pull that up. A membership is $36. I would encourage anybody who's interested in this to listen to that conference They indicated, I believe, that they're required to pay 80% of the electrical, and it's going into the legislature, and they can pay 100%. The moderator on that conference made it very clear that they were giving information and they were not presenting a case for or against data centers. Their speakers indicated that Farm Bureau is cautiously optimistic on data centers. The Indiana legislature is pro data centers. They gave data centers a waiver of state tax on utility bills. If we get a Duke Energy bill, we got our energy costs and sales tax. Data centers, that was waived by the legislature. Obviously, President Trump is passionate on AI development. One of the Farm Bureau speakers stated that if you don't participate in the AI frontier, you will be left behind. Data centers, they do bring in some high-paying income jobs. They also will bring in secondary IT businesses. And the speaker stated that misinformation passes faster than factual information. And there are negatives, but there are far more positives on data centers. That came from Farm Bureau. So you can see that conference in your interest.
I just have a name to add to the list that has been approached. Brad and Jenny Chamberlain, I know, have been approached by the same man.
I might also add that when he approaches people, he uses our name. We've had people call us and say, do you know Terry O'Malley? And he gave us your name.
Sales tactic.
Yes, because we told them, oh, don't have anything to do with him. No, it's ridiculous. He's using people's names that were on the Midwest Gas title money. But believe me, no one on that Midwest Gas wants him around anywhere. He's untrustworthy.
Yes.
My name's John Kistler, Kistler, 47841. I spent 30+ years in IT, Schultz did. Saw a lot of different data centers, did a lot of military work along the way. I've seen generator power plants that you didn't even know existed because they have no shock absorbers, having walls where you saw nothing. The technology's here if those guys want to do it, but what they're looking for is us as low-hanging fruit where they don't have to spend the money. Right now, we're hamstrung because of no zoning, but that doesn't mean we don't have options. So we as citizens can go in and look at federal laws, we can look at state laws, and we as citizens can start suits to stop some of this stuff where we're getting overrun, such as what IBM did to the commissioners here. And the more we, all of us individuals, make those kind of statements and start raising some of those issues, it can be an overwhelming process for them to try to fight all that. Now, they got big bucks in their pocket. We don't. But I'm saying that this is not hopeless without the zoning. I'm saying we as citizens need to exercise everything that we have got within that framework to come back and hit them hard.
With that being said, I would like to say that I've got two notices that are going out. I didn't make these notices, they're ones that I found, somebody else is involved with all these data centers and stuff. And they're all going out to the President Trump, to Governor Braun, and whoever else higher up. And I put them on the data center group on Facebook and on the Brazil chatter. If you guys all want to sign these, even you guys, if something to look at and to start, just put them on notice that we don't want them and they need to stop it. So
he's right on the fact that you can make these organizations to shield and things along those lines to mitigate a lot of the environmental concerns you have with respect to, you know, ultrasound waves, things along those lines that can travel at low frequencies, distances, and whatnot. It's gonna have a physical impact you can shield. I think specifically what you're seeing here, land brokers going out into different landowners here, trying to name drop and stuff, trying to get, you know, some people from a consensus to start purchasing property and giving you numbers that you're, you know, more than what you really are used to hearing. The thing you need to be very cognizant of, they're probably nothing more than a front for some data center organization. They're using that as their front line. But the gentleman was right on and spot on when he mentioned the fact that you can, you know, basically require them through their planning or whatever the case may be to mitigate that stuff, put the necessary infrastructure up close on. It can be a great thing. You can have a lot of jobs associated with maintenance providing and things along those lines, but you definitely want to protect yourself with respect to water and all that stuff going on.
If any of you are contacted by anybody, we would like to know, okay? And we'd like to have names, okay?
I just wanted to add, my name is Kate Boston, 46135. I just wanted to add, that the number for O'Malley in, the application, I was able to reach him once. He said that he would call me back later. I've not received it, so the number does work.
Oh.
Just wanted to let you know, it's in the application.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly, it doesn't answer them.
There is another option for dealing with data centers that I've seen used successfully in Oklahoma. And that is there are both presidential executive orders and there are DOD and congressional laws regarding the types of technology and who the vendors are. In other words, let's keep the Chinese from spying on us. That have crippled some data centers because in fact they were thinking they could ignore and get away from those laws. I don't know, as you as commissioners, if we can pass any kind of ordinances that we enforce that to say, you know, anything, any kind of data that happens in this county must comply with all these laws and be open to audits. But it is one thing that will get people to stop and think. And another question is, who provides the tax abatements in the county? Is this from the commission or from the council?
County council.
County council. Okay, the reason I'm saying this is I saw a couple data centers, again, going back to Oklahoma, where they gave them a huge property tax abatement because it was going to be bringing in so many new jobs. It ended up being 6 full-time jobs and the loss of tax revenue was huge because of that. So again, another tactic we can have is say, yeah, tax abatements will happen, but it's going to be based upon the number of full-time employees and the number of full-time employees that live in this county. Because what a lot of these data centers are doing is they're doing remote workers in another state. And then they're saying that's a full-time employee here, and it does not benefit the locality at all.
A data center doesn't typically have a lot of bodies on the floor. Probably an operator, somebody minding the logistics dock and security desk. I mean, you may have less than 5 people on staff at any shift, so it's not a huge employee. Where you get the values with some of the ancillary stuff on the other side. Maintenance providers for equipment and engineers for equipment, network technicians, some of that type of stuff. Like you said, some of it is remote, but you can sort of solidify your arguments to maintain it as much as local as possible. You definitely don't want any Chinese. I'm married to a Hong Kong woman. I'm as anti-Chinese as the day is long. Trust me, I go over there and I just spit at it. It's it's horrible. But yeah, they're trying to infiltrate. They may well be behind some of these people for all you know. I mean, they like coming in because they think you guys are country bumpkins and they can roll all over you. You know, and the bottom line, this is the beauty of it. You guys here are all coming in and speaking. Wonderful thing to have. Community involvement. So you don't get ran over like a steamboat.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Rita Strain, STRAIN. My zip code is 47834. I thank everybody for coming out today. Thank you, Paul Gable. You've been showing amazing leadership on Facebook. We appreciate everything you've done. I just want to say and make a comment. I've been a resident of Brazil since 2020, and we love it out here. We love the countryside. We love the nature. We love everything about it, people. And I just want to say, I don't buy the fact that this thing that you're trying to sell us, that guys, it's coming, you don't want to be steamrolled. Frankly, I would like to be left behind. Yeah, that does not concern me whatsoever. What concerns me is the community that we live in, that the water stay clean, that the air stay breathable, that our land is not polluted. Sounds like there's a lot of work. We would like to partner with you, work together with you, not be divided, but be united as a community so that we can resist the steamrolling that is happening across this nation. I understand the president supports it. I understand the governor supports it. I would like to challenge the governor to move out of the governor's mansion and buy property within a mile of the data center that he is ramrodding through Hoosiers in the state of Indiana. And then let's talk about how great these are for our state. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Kelly Maurer, Maurer, 47834. I live about 1.8 miles as a crow flies from where the power generating plant is going in. And it's feeling very much to me like it's an inevitable thing coming to my neighborhood. We happily refer to our little area as Happyville, where we live on the four corners there. But it has its struggles. If the water's gonna go off, my house is the first to go without it for the longest. If the power's gonna go off, my house is the first to go without it for the longest because we're the last house on the line. We didn't used to be, but a coal mine mined through the road south of my house and left us with a roller coaster. There was a bond on it, but apparently it got released at some point through this body without addressing the fact that the road is a roller coaster and continues to have sinking areas and issues like that. I'm not really complaining about any of that. We live in a small community. There's not a lot of money to always fix these things, and it does maybe make people slow down a little bit when they're coming up and down my road.
Actual speed bump.
Right, but at this point, we also have a sinkhole falling in every time I take a grandkid to school or pick them up. They pave it, it looks good, it feels smooth for a little bit, then it starts sinking in. So there are so many straws that you can take on your back in these situations, and I appreciate Mr. Cinders, my principal from high school, that people shouldn't sell their land. But when you have a data center that's buzzing in your ear or messing up your air or changing your quality of life, you don't want your land anymore in that area. So I see that cascade effect happening. I have land in other parts of the county that, I have a relationship with Blue Sky. I've been cashing a $50 check here and there for a cavern or a storage place in the rock underneath my property for years, whenever the check comes, if it comes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And that was just grandfathered in when we bought our property. And, they've called me multiple times. I can give you you and I spoke yesterday for a long time. I gave you the names that I had. But I guess going forward at this point, it sounds like this is pretty much inevitable in my front yard and many people's here in their yard. What are we going to do to protect those of us that live up there now from the noise, from the air quality issues, from everything else that comes in? I know that the rock trucks hauling themselves up and down my roller coaster road had to do with the power plant up north. But I also know that they were probably hauling rock to help build some inroads on that property and get the trees out, because if it wasn't rock trucks for a while, it was trees moving up and down our road. Nobody cared about a speed limit. Nobody cared about grandkids who can't go out in their front yard and play anymore because rocks leave the truck at a high rate of speed. Trucks leave the road and end up in people's driveways, just shot down in it like it's a rocket in their driveway. There's only so many straws you can take, and I guess I need to understand from the people that we elect, what are we gonna do? It sounds like it's coming. I appreciate that we're awake now, and I'm guilty of that too. I like living in this sleepy little county and going to work on Mondays and not being available to come here. But what do we do now? As commissioners, you talk to the governor. I understand that you're limited in what you can and can't do. But where do we go now if it's inevitably landing in my front yard to protect all of us who don't really want to sell our land, but who may be driven completely insane by this situation and need to leave our land at some point?
All state laws are applicable. So they're under restrictions from IDEM and the Department of Natural Resources, and that is all under state law.
I guess that doesn't feel very comforting, given that IDM is playing behind our local government's back and passing permits. Do we have any thought that they're going to care about our air quality or the sound quality? And I mean, as much as I can do and as much as I can understand it, and I miss my husband so much because he would have been part of the group that would have been working through this, because he was very smart and he understood these things, but it is hard to keep up with. And can you, like, if they're just passing permits behind the backs of our commissioners, do we expect them to really hold Mr. O'Malley in check? And he is a flake. I mean, that is the only way to describe this gentleman, is he is a flake of a person to deal with. Yeah, so it's just super frustrating to me. And, you know, when they come knocking at my door and want to know, do you own any other land? What's available? What do you have in Clay County? You just, yeah.
Have you been contacted?
Yes, yeah. And it was really under the guise of, oh, we've had some trouble in our company. Things have been messed up. That lease that we have with you for storing natural gas under your property, which has been there since we bought the house in '89. I mean, it was really this just bizarre thing that.
When was the last time you were contacted?
Probably, I'll have to check my records, but I think it was the end of, not last summer, but the summer before. And the only reason it came about is because my husband died. And at a certain point, I came up for air and started going through our personal records and sorting them out. And I was like, hey, we have this weird contract or this weird agreement with this weird company. And then you try to look up that company and it no longer exists. And, you know, finally, Greg.
It's Greg.
Called me and, you know, just couldn't have been any nicer. And, oh, we're just cleaning up things. And, you know, but in that process, wanting to know what other properties are available. Do you own other land in Clay County? Frederick. Yeah, Frederick. Yeah. So,
Now, who did he represent?
Blue Pipeline Power. Yeah, Blue Pipeline LLC, which was formerly Hydrogen something something LLC, which was formerly Midwest Gas something something. And I think there might have been a fourth name in there. Putnam, yes, for like 5 seconds. It was Putnam.
Has anybody heard of the name Jeffrey A. Daniel from Cummings, Georgia?
That's who I met with. He's with Blue, that's who I met with. He's with Blue Flux Power.
And when do you meet with him?
That within a month or so ago, recently, very recently.
Okay.
But he's the one that's no longer working, and he's from Georgia. His company, Weaver Spurs in Georgia. He's no longer working with Terry O'Malley or with in Indiana. That's the recent message I had from him.
Okay, then he's with, and then he's executive vice president of
Yes.
Georgia Green Power Incorporated.
Yes, and the card I have.
Somebody sent me a picture of this car and said this guy was one coming around.
He's the one that I met with, and he also, just a side note, had someone, brought someone local with him who I didn't know, to try to give him the end that, you know, that I'm real, that I'm bringing someone local, and I didn't know that person either.
Was his name Mark Nolan?
Exactly. I have his phone number too.
Headquartered coming to
I'm in Georgia, right?
105.
It has been, I just spoke with Mr. Daniels, texted with him last week.
So I know that, I appreciate that Clay County doesn't have zoning. I do. That's one of the nice things about living in the country, to be able to do what you want when you want. But I don't think that allows somebody to buy a country square mile and destroy all the country square miles in a 2 to 3 mile vicinity around it with the noise. And people talked about the train up in Lena, that area. On a cold night in my bedroom, I would swear that the train was going through my swimming pool. It's that loud. And, you know, it's bothersome to me to think that we're all gonna get to live with this now. It sounds like it's inevitable. At least this power plant is inevitable and coming our way. I guess, again, I ask, like, what as commissioners can be done to really hold them to task? Despite the fact that right now there is no zoning, if it does change our air quality and it does make the noise unbearable and it does create more traffic on a road for, I don't even know, I can't even begin to imagine the things that are coming from this, because, you know, you can go down rabbit holes and read a lot of crazy things, but I just can't imagine with that many turbine engines. And I have a son that works at Cummins. Cummins is thrilled about data centers right now. They can't keep up with the generators that they need to build to put these data centers in across the nation, but they're loud. And there's no way that that is not going to be affecting us, so.
By the way, that Blue Flux Power is a Georgia company, but it is operations are based out in Indiana. So probably that's where the money's coming.
So I would like to say, like, you keep asking, like, what are they gonna do? Like, it's our job as the people to instruct them and higher ups from the Indiana, the governor, everybody. It's our job to do that, to instruct them and everybody else. We all, the people, need to come together and look at our Indiana Constitution and our federal Constitution. It's our job to instruct them and tell them what they need to do for our best interest, not theirs, not for no financial gain or anything else like that. It is our job.
I understand
We have
that.
to come
I just
together
want
and
to
do
understand what,
notices or
I want to understand what's possible, I
peacefully
guess.
assemble
Let me
everything.
rephrase the question. What's possible to be done in light of this? Anything? Is there anything that can be done about this at this point?
Brian, was the moratorium in Park County, was that only possible because they currently have zoning? That's how they place them, we can't do a moratorium just because you feel like it, so how I understand it, and I know Brian's been working on it, the list they gave here, if you don't have one, they listed out the 3 things they need to do to be able to protect us.
Yeah, but that's for them to do. For us as a community and as a people, we need to stand up and instruct them, everybody, not just you guys, the governor, everybody, to do what they do. It doesn't matter what they say that they can do, it's still our job to tell them what to do. And if we come together and assemble and tell them what to do, then they're not gonna move forward with it. If we as a whole, as Indiana, and go against it by sending notices or peacefully assemble as a big group, not just a small little county that you guys are being overthrown anyway. So you guys are, your hands are tied basically, so they're not gonna be able to do much either. It's our job to do it.
I think right now, we are still waiting on to get, hear back from the governor's office. We haven't heard anything, and then we have contacted IEM, we're waiting for her to contact us back, why she let that go get approved when she hadn't really contacted us.
do we need to be contacting these same people?
Yes.
If that's, I mean, there's probably enough people here that would like to have some of that contact information. And I mean, obviously, we could probably spend some time researching and dig it out, but is that something I'm asking?
Yeah. What's your gentleman's thoughts about it? Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
I think John said it well. He said, you know, we, as a community, the more people that contact them, the more they're gonna listen.
Exactly.
Because, the squeaky wheel will get the grease and, I mean, it's just like with NDOT. When we contact NDOT about a problem, our call goes on the back burner. But if one of you were to call them, it snaps them into order because they don't hear from citizenry very often. This is amazing. Normally, we have 4, maybe 5 people at our meetings. You know, we had a combined, commissioners council meeting back in March. It was a public meeting advertised. There were only 2 people from the public, here at that meeting. And, so we listen when you come and talk to us, but a lot of times there's nobody here to talk to us. And we appreciate this, so thank you very much.
My personal opinion is if they would contact IDEM, that'd be great. Yes.
I'll tell you what, I did contact DNR, and they did tell me a lot of stuff about that piece of property. Right now, that O'Malley owes the DNR $450,000. I asked him, why would they, give them a permit for that, where the two's not even talking to each other? If they owe them,
Put a lien on it.
Huh?
Put a lien on it.
Well, that's what was supposed to be on it. It said it was supposed to be all over the fence up there. I don't know, Bill, did you ever see that up there around the fence?
Not on the fence, it's not even one.
Well, I was talking to the guy from DNR, and he said, well, we're getting ready to take you to court, and we're gonna end up owning that piece of property. I said, well, it's done changed names. He said, do what? I said, "Yeah." But they said he's already got the paperwork filed, but he needs to be on the move.
Yeah, he had it a Monte Hill Properties trying to sell it a couple years ago for about $1 million. And he did have some interest, and then when it come up on those leases or liens and stuff, DNR stuff, whoever was gonna buy it back out, he took it off the market.
So them liens should still be on that piece of property.
I mean, as of just a couple of years ago, so I mean, I'm assuming it's the liens that stopped that, but he had it for sale.
How can we find out if the property still has a lien on it?
Should be recorded, right?
Yeah.
Title search, a lien is good for 10 years.
Is there any charges we as Clay County can press against the IDEM for going ahead without any of our legal approval? If they operated illegally, why shouldn't we be able to do something about it?
I agree, yeah, why is there not like a suit against them or something?
Well, I don't think they did anything illegal. They
They
notified.
use names that weren't.
I understand. I'm saying as far as notification goes, it sends to the mayor's office, the public library, and the county commissioner. No, if you know, if no one read the mail, or if they use somebody's name, I mean, it's a permit, the public opening for comment, no one commented on it, no one knew it existed, but they went through a state permit and got approved. Notification really kind of snapped the fact kind of thing.
But the signature wasn't valid.
I don't know that the county actually signed it, they just get
Yes,
notified. on the
just to
application.
provide some context, so I wrote the original article for the paper. And looking into the mailing records, they did send them to the 2 addresses that they had for City Hall and for the courthouse here. There was, when I talked to the guy at IDEM, he said essentially, he sent me the letter that they got sent, which is also available on their database. It essentially says there was a permit submitted for air quality. That's all of the detail that was in that letter that was sent as a recommendation. So if you want to review that, those are on IDEM's, I think it's called their virtual file cabinet.
It's just notification, they don't get told, you as approved or not approved it.
But how's it approved if it's just gonna pay off, so you just say, hey, I can do this, and
Okay, it's just a state air permit, the state Department of National, of Environmental Protection or Management says, hey, you guys meet the requirements for air quality. They're notifying us that they're gonna do it. It's not that you guys want to or not, it's just, hey, heads up, this permit's coming through the system. It's not that county to sign off on it, they really have to say one. If you look at, Oxide Chemical has one, couple farms out here have one for probably manure of some sort of discharge. But it's just notification, the county does not, I think the policy is someone got notified who's no longer here. But it's not a, hey, do you want to or not, it's just heads up, here, coming down the road.
So isn't that in itself, though, because that person's not even here, is just, it's a wrongful, notification?
That's a question for him.
You know what I mean? So wouldn't that make it invalid because they sent it to the wrong person?
That's somebody on the back row here, she's been trying to.
I, two things. One, anybody that lives close by can call the DNR and get a free evaluation of your well and how many gallons per minute you currently have, which if something happens down the line, you lose your water, you can use that to prove that you did have a certain amount of water pressure and that sort of thing. Second thing, a lady that owns property, about 160 acres, just over the county line in Park County. They don't live there, they live up by Pittsboro, Jonesboro. They have a data center going in up there, and they hired a lawyer. His name is Ari Lipinski, I have his phone number, and he's highly recommended. He's like a $2,000 retainer fee. I don't know if he's actually like a land use attorney or what, but they hired him, some of the residents there, and it stopped it because he found a problem with, the annexation procedures because they did have zoning, one property. So they dropped the lawsuit because they quit building. Well, in the meantime, they annexed that in and did it correctly. Now, this is like a year later, the other day she called me, she's like, they're building it again. So that's just for your information kind of thing. If anybody wants that lawyer's phone number, I have it to look into it. There's another land use. He came highly recommended by him. That's all I have. Hope it's helpful.
Yes.
Kate Carter, 47834. I see a lot of familiar faces in here. I would just like to encourage the commissioners and all of our elected officials in Clay County, as we've seen illustrated through examples such as that if we were to find some permitting issue, anything like that, the logical thing that these companies, especially with as nefarious means as we've gotten to the point we are at today, they're just gonna go get the permit. The only permanent solution and redress that we have as the public and the county is going to be through zoning laws and then hamstring them through that. Because, and we also have to I just want to encourage all of our elected officials that we're not dealing with the good old boys from Clay County here, these people. And I would really like to push back also on the idea that this kind of thing is inevitable. I don't think it is. I think that anything that is ramrodded down the public's throat in this way through such nefarious means is a good thing, or that it should be inevitable. And I encourage everyone to understand what you're dealing with. Check everything, vet everything independently, make phone calls, jam them up in any way possible. We, as the residents of Clay County, do not like these things here. So, thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Hannah Pickett, 47868. I don't know if I speak for everyone here, but I feel that if zoning is what is going to be required to stop this, I feel like as a general population, that maybe that's a sacrifice that we have to make. That to prevent this from happening, to preserve our way of life here, is through zoning. And if that's what it's going to take, then, I mean, I'm for that. My family's lived here for over 150 years. The Schottmeyer family, and that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to take, to prevent things like this coming in, when this isn't gonna benefit us. Where are the jobs? I mean, they list you know, all of the revenue and things, but revenue for whom? Not for us citizens. There's not gonna be any jobs there for me. There's not gonna be any jobs here for a lot of people. You know, these are jobs that they're gonna bring from someone from New York City or Chicago.
India.
This is not everyday jobs. This is not gonna benefit everyday citizens in any way. This is something that's gonna benefit big corporation and that's it. You know, I mean, is it gonna bring a short-term revenue for the county? Probably, but I'm never gonna see that. That's not gonna benefit me and my family at all. You know, we're just, you know, lowly farmers. We're not gonna see that benefit in any way.
But we pay the price.
Exactly. The taxpayers pay the price for big corporations.
These people view us with contempt. I think that that's important to emphasize as well. These people are not our friends. They're not Clay County residents. They don't have any vested interest in our well-being here.
They only serve themselves as big corporations,
They're
and
only
that's it.
interested in raping and pillaging the landscape.
Thank you.
I think got time for one more.
My last question is, as a committee, can you have an emergency meeting and put that on the agenda of tonight's council meeting as an emergency that we want to get the permit thing that you said we needed? Can you get that on tonight? Or as an emergency, I would think, do you have that authority to do that?
No.
Has to be advertised.
Can you get it in the paper tomorrow?
Post it on Facebook.
Nobody do it.
Oh, before we adjourn, I would like to just bring everybody's attention. There's going to be a public reading of the Declaration of Independence Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. on the front steps of the courthouse. And you know, it's part of the America 250. We'd like to see as many people as possible come out and support the reading of our Declaration of Independence. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you all very much. With that, I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry about that, folks. We have another meeting at 11.